follow along, make things stick a little bit better. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests and visitors. It gives me a great pleasure to be here tonight, and for those of you who are new to the club, I've been taking my speaking opportunities to kind of share my journey that was launched with having a heart attack a year ago Christmas morning while exercising at 7 a.m. And I reasoned that I couldn't change my age, my race, or my gender, but I could do something about my nutrition and my stress. And so tonight I'm going to share with you what I've done about my nutrition. So I tried to capture it into a simple structure. I like the number 10, so we've got 10 rules for healthy eating. Rule number 1, avoid processed food. This is the golden rule for eating properly. And it's been expressed in different ways, but only eat what your grandmother would recognize is a great rule of thumb for avoiding processed food. Number 2, this is not a diet, and to emphasize that, I told myself I don't need to count calories, I don't need to count portion sizes in grams, I don't have to be a nutrition reductionist and look for the vitamin A and the B2 and the C and the D and the E and the F and the G. Just eat diverse whole foods and you'll be fine. Okay, so avoid processed foods and eat whole foods and don't bother counting. All right, now, but what to eat? I've got 3 rules for what to eat. Number 1, eat pasture-fed meat and dairy. Now, pasture-fed is to me is the higher standard. It exceeds the standard of organic. And if you want to know why, see me after the meeting. There are 3 benefits to a pasture-fed meat and dairy. I want my dairy cows, and I want my beef, my pork, my lamb, my chicken to eat mineral-rich grass and then pass it on to me. Okay? A grass-fed meat and dairy is far more nutritious than conventional meat and dairy. Roughly 4 times the nutritional value of the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, and K. And similar extent of better nutrition when it comes to 2 very important fatty acids, omega-3 and CLA. And then finally, by eating pasture-fed meat and dairy, once again, I'm avoiding the processed hazards of not eating growth hormones, because I am tall enough, not eating antibiotics, and not eating the secondhand eating of unnatural diets that are fed to in conventional feedlots. Okay, so in addition to grass-fed meat and dairy, the second rule of what to eat is eat eggs. Eggs are great. They're a cheap form of protein. They're really a good buy. They've got excellent nutrition to them, and they're great sources of cholesterol. Okay? Now, that might shock you to say great sources of cholesterol. The body does a good job of making cholesterol, and it better because 1/4 of your brain's weight is cholesterol. And the sheathing of your neurons, in other words, the insulation to protect the signaling, is made out of cholesterol. So cholesterol has many repair jobs and other valuable functions that it serves in the body. And so the body makes cholesterol, and the brain has its own little factory in case the liver fails. It's got its own way to make cholesterol. Now what happens is when you eat cholesterol, when you take it in a dietary fashion, the body simply adjusts downward and doesn't make as much. So forget about all those registered dietitians and all those other health magazines that say, eat egg whites and skim milk and so forth. Chow down on cholesterol and you'll be better for it. All right, the third guidance on what to eat is eat live food. Now, live food, I remember when I first heard that, that's kind of an odd expression, live food. What is live food? Live food, first of all, is raw. Secondly, it's unpasteurized. It hasn't been killed through pasteurization, which is basically a heat process, a heat treatment. And number 3, live food is fermented. Now, what does raw food, unpasteurized, and fermented have in common? It has enzymes. And these enzymes are important for digestion and for other purposes that I don't really know about. but I've been schooled to eat live food, so that's what I do. I have what many people would recognize as probiotics with every meal. I have yogurt for breakfast, and I have a fermented dairy drink called kefir for lunch and dinner. I've got a healthy gut as a result, and that powers my body's energy, and it gives me a very vital immune system for good health. Okay? Now I've got 2 rules about fats. Number 1, burn logs, not sticks or kindling. You want to burn logs if you want to have a good fire. And there are 3 sources for calories. Number 1 is simple carbs, like sugars and pastas and so forth. Those digest the blood glucose. They're quick to digest and quick to burn. The second source is protein. Think of them like sticks. They last longer than kindling, but they don't give you a sustained warm or hot fire. What you need are the logs, and the logs are fat. Now, not just fat, but saturated fat. Rule number 7, avoid polyunsaturated fats, which I guarantee you, if you know anything about nutrition, you're supposed to avoid saturated fats and eat vegetable oils, which are polyunsaturated. But the real truth is the reverse. 3 more rules. Rule number 8, buy direct from farmers. You're going to support your local economy, you're going to lower your footprint, your carbon footprint, and you're going to have accountability because you know where your food came from. They know, those farmers know that I know them. And we, consumers, because I'm in a buying group, we're talking all the time. So they can't get away with anything. So the accountability is great. Rule number 9, take plant-based supplements. We do have special needs, and the diets don't always satisfy them. So I do take supplements, and plant-based is especially important. And number 10, do the best I can. I've got to go to restaurants when I travel, and locally with friends. I cheat, I eat simple carbs, then I forgive myself, and I just do the best I can. Thank you.